Good evening. I am Pastor David A. Shaw of Monument of Hope and Deliverance, where hope, and I do mean hope, changes everything. We are continuing forth our reading out of the book of Genesis, chapter 18 to chapter 20. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground, and said, My Lord, if now I find favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, and I will fetch the morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on. For therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, So do, as they had said. And Abraham hastened unto the tent and to Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 morsels and measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes unto the herd. And Abraham ran into the herd, and fetched the calf tender and good, and gave it unto the young men. And he hastened to dress it, and he took butter and milk, and in the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah, your wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee, according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah, thy wife, will have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, and was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, and well stricken in age. And it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of woman. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child, which am old? Is any age too hard, anything too hard for the Lord? In the time appointed I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah laughed, denied, saying, I laugh not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And the man rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the Lord of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord. And the justice and judgment of the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. And the Lord said, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me. And if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence, and went toward Sodom. And Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also deny the righteousness with the wicked? And peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city, wilt thou also destroy it and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. And Abraham answered and said, behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy the city for lack of 5? And he said, if I find there 45, I will not destroy it. And he spake unto him yet again, and said, peradventure there shall be 45 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there shall 30 but found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, behold now, I have then taken unto me and spoke unto the Lord, peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And the Lord went his way. As soon as he had left, coming with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place. Chapter 19. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up and met them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, behold, now my Lord, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he passed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him and entered into the house. And he made him a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, where are the men which come into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out to the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as it is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, but therefore come them under the shadow of my roof. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow come in to sojourn, and he will needs be the judge. Now will we deal worse with them than with thee. And they pressed sour upon the men, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door. And they smote the men and were at the door in the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they worried themselves to find the door. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides, son of law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whosoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For you will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spoke unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning rose, when the angels hastened to Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest they be consumed by the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, and Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth, and sat him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, and he said, Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither they shall in all thy plain escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my Lord. Behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life, and I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning its thing also, that I will not overthrow this city, for that the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the city is called Zor. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zor. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of the heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning, in the place which he stood before the Lord, and he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of plain, and behold, and lo, and smoke of the country went up to the smoke of the furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dealt. And Lot went he went up out of Zor and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zor. And he dwelt in the cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the youngest, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto his after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drunk wine, and will lay with him, that we may preserve seed for our father. And they made their father drink wine that might. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and her where he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she rose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lay with him, and we may preserve the seed for our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the youngest arose and lay with him. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot and the children of their father. And the firstborn bore a son, and called his name Moab. And the same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bore a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. Chapter 20. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dealt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said to Sarah, his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, thou art but a dead man, for the woman which thou hast taken, she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, She is my sister? And she even herself said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And God said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. Now, therefore, restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning, and called for his servants, and told all these things in their ears. And the men were sore afraid. And Abimelech called Abraham, and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us? And what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not be done. And Abimelech said to Abraham, What sayest thou, that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and thou mayst slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister, she is the daughter of my father, but the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And I came to pass, when God caused me to wander from my father's house, and I said unto her, This is my kindness, which thou shalt show unto me at every place whither we shall come. Say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and maidservants and manservants, and gave them to Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is there for thee. Dwell there, and placeth thee. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thee brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes unto all that are with thee. And with all other thus she say, reproved. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants and their born children. For the Lord hath placed up all the wounds of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. I have read chapter 18 through chapter 20 in the book of Genesis. Thank you, and God bless you.